Welcome everyone to CKD Unplugged Stories of Strength. My name is Rosemary Sherrod, and I'm the Digital Community Engagement Specialist here at Now Included. To those who are new, Now Included is a digital community platform, and our mission is to educate communities of color and empower them to make better informed health decisions. And we continue to be that trusted space where people can share their lived experiences and feel seen by the community. So today I am joined here with some amazing people. We have Greg Hasbury,
Hey
we
everybody.
Peak, and then we also have Brandon Marable that may be joining us in a little bit. But they are now included ambassadors, and they are some of the most inspiring people and resilient people that I have ever met. I will let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves. And while they're doing that, if you are joining, like, listen, go ahead and drop your city in the chat. Greg,
Birmingham, Alabama.
Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself. We got
Okay.
your location. You in Birmingham. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a 2015 kidney transplant recipient from Birmingham, Alabama. I am the owner of Elite Fitness and Figure. I am in year 7. I think year 7 or year 8. Really feeling really blessed and lucky to be here and want to share some knowledge with you guys.
Awesome. Miyoshi.
Hello, everyone. I am Myoshi. I am from I'm in Warner Robins, Georgia. I have been diagnosed with kidney disease in 2010 and recently got my transplant last year in April of 2023. So I'll be coming up on a year soon next month. And I'm just happy to be here to be able to share my story and be able to connect with the community.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much, Greg and Miyoshi. I really appreciate that. And for those of you who do not know, it is Kidney Awareness Month, and we're excited that everyone is here to join this conversation as we're, just acknowledging and bringing awareness to CKD. And so we have another ambassador. He may join in a little bit, but Brandon, let me tell you a little bit about Brandon. Brandon is so passionate and dedicated on sharing his story and helping us educate the community that he was going to join us from his job. So I'm sure that he's gotten tied up a little bit, but he's just so passionate about sharing his story. And we'll actually drop the link to Brandon Marable's story in the chat. So if any of you are interested in Brandon's story, you feel free to watch his story there on YouTube. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we have a little icebreaker. Greg and Miyoshi, I just want to ask you this. You all have experienced and have that lived experience with CKD. What is some of the common myths or stigmas about CKD that you have encountered or seen within the Black community? And
One.
wait a minute, before you get started, those who have joined us, hold on. Look, Greg, I know you ready. You're like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
this one. But before you get started, I just want to say, if you all that are joining have heard of any myths or stigmas, drop them in the chat. Or even if you have questions about, like, hey, I heard this about CKD, and you wonder if it's a truth or if it's a myth, drop it in the chat. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. One of the biggest myths that I have heard or been sold or been asked is, are you a diabetic? And my emphatic answer was no, not even close. The second myth was, did you have to drop your protein count? No, I didn't. I was actually encouraged to keep mine.
Yeah.
Those are my two.
I don't know if I heard those two before, but I definitely heard like if I had told someone that I had CKD or something like that, I've been told like, oh well, maybe you weren't drinking enough water, or
Right.
maybe you could drink some cranberry juice. I heard cranberry juice is really good for the kidneys. And while it is, it's something completely different than having chronic kidney disease.
Oh, that's great. And let me check the chat. I don't see anyone has added any feedback there. Um, okay. So we'll just keep moving on. Thank you all for sharing that, because we do want to definitely debunk myths and untruths, around CKD. We want people to be empowered, with education or just with the true facts. So we'll move on. To our first question. And Greg and Miyoshi, you feel free to, you know, uh, to move forward in this conversation as the questions pop up on the screen. So the first one is, can you share with us when and how you were first diagnosed with CKD,
Mhm.
how CKD has impacted each of you?
Sure. Miyoshi, I want to be a gentleman here. Would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
So I was diagnosed with CKD in 2010, and at that time I was pregnant with my last child,
Uh-huh.
and that is when they suspected that something was happening with my kidneys, because when you're pregnant, you have to go in for your um, maternal checks and things like that, to
Mhm.
check on the baby, to check on your health. And during getting those labs, they kept seeing that my protein in my urine was really high. And they
Mhm.
kept asking me, was I eating like a lot of protein? Like, was I doing something different in my diet? I'm like, nothing different than what I was regularly doing, which then prompted them to send me to see a nephrologist.
Mhm.
um, the nephrologist at the time, he suspected that it could be CKD, but they couldn't do a biopsy because I was pregnant. So he just was like, oh, well, wait, but your blood work is leaning towards the fact that, you could possibly have CKD. And once I got the biopsy, they did blood work again. It was basically conclusive that, yes, you
Okay.
have CKD. And when I found that out, I was in shock. Like, I was immediately afraid. I was immediately, like, the first thing that came to my mind was dialysis.
Mhm.
And I was just like, this can't be happening to me. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. I think initially, I don't know about you, Greg, but initially when I was told, I was in denial. Like,
Me
I really
too.
wanted to deny, like, no, no, no. Maybe they got something wrong. Maybe, like, maybe all of this is gonna go away. It was a lot to take in initially.
Yeah. Um, when my initial diagnosis was in 2014, and everything happened really fast.
Mhm.
Um, it was kind of like being in a time warp. It's like I didn't know how to accept or take any of the things that were going on, and I was told that I was sitting at about 27% function, and I think at the time, I think they were saying that I needed 32 to not end up on dialysis, but it never came back up. So,
Mm.
in previous talks that I've had, with you guys, I talked about the middle side of it. And
Mhm.
excuse me, y'all, I have a little ingestion. Um, that was devastating to me,
Yeah.
especially being an athlete my whole life.
Mhm.
My mindset was always, oh, I could overcome this.
Mhm. Yep.
It didn't happen like I wanted it to. So,
Yeah.
you ended up on the track of dialysis and um, all of the questions and myths and everything that went along with it.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that I stress, and it's interesting, I still have my fistula in my left arm.
Mhm.
So it's an interesting conversation piece when I run into people in the community
Yeah.
and people ask, and I start telling the story, and some of them are like, well, hey, can you talk to my family member? I'm like, sure, I have no problem with it. It's actually been quite, I don't want to say fun, but eye-opening to
Right.
talk to people, especially in the Black community, and
Oh,
share the
absolutely.
story. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so
Oh man, thank you so much for sharing that. So how have you all been managing, CKD and just working with doctors to find the right treatment options?
well, it's kind of funny that you say that because I told you guys on the way here, I got stuck in traffic, and Friday in Birmingham, Alabama, it's nobody wants to do anything after 2 o'clock anyway, so everybody's leaving. I was actually leaving UAB, leaving the specialty pharmacy, picking up my anti rejection medications. So that's a big part of the whole deal is managing through your proper medications, through your numbers with your care. Myoshi, I know you going through the same thing with consistent checkups that start off with literally almost every day, then every other day, then every month to every 3 months to every year, and so on. So it's a lifelong thing. And that's how you navigate the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, initially I was stage 3, I think 3B when I found out. So my appointments at that time were like every 6 months or every year, depending on what my numbers looked like. And I had a really good doctor initially. I was living in Virginia at the time. Then I moved to Georgia and was locating another doctor I felt that was just pushing me on dialysis.
Yes.
And dialysis is a treatment option, but I feel like they weren't looking at the whole picture. Like it was just like check the boxes, dialysis is next for you. And no matter how much you think that you can try to prepare your mind that your kidneys might fail at some point, dialysis is, to me, the most curious part of knowing that you have CKD, because literally you need that machine to live.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah. I mean, it's very terrifying, and I've had family members pass away from CKD. So just having a good doctor that really cares about you, that takes the time to give you the information that you need. And when you go to the appointments, make sure you're advocating for yourself, asking those questions.
Yes.
So, you just can't let them just, put their own treatment on you without really getting to know like all your symptoms, what is happening with you, and really being able to have that collaborative effort. Yeah.
I'm probably going to get some hate email here, but I'm going to keep it real. Speaking of being your own advocate, what I have found, and again, I'm going to raise some eyebrows with this one, in the Black community, you are not encouraged to be your own advocate. You are encouraged just to follow suit, with what's being said. What I also came to understand, that every treatment center, every dialysis center, they're not equal. Not at all. And I felt like I was automatically placed into a setting where they felt like my level of knowledge or my level of education was lesser than my counterparts. And what it took was, again, being my own advocate and actually writing an 8-page letter regarding my care to be moved to the premier clinic here in my home city.
Yeah.
Fortunately, what I did not realize was a mutual friend of mine with an old client of mine he was the delegate to Congress and a lobbyist.
Yeah.
So my care went from a 5 to a 20.
Oh, wow. And that's awesome. I mean, that plays a big role too. And just, I think even in the survival rate by doing that, just that very thing. Yeah.
So
I love it. I love it. So we just, taking a pause just to encourage the community that you need to see your primary care physician yearly, because if you're seeing your primary care physician yearly, it increases the chances of maintaining healthy kidneys. And so, then we have a comment from John Forrest. In the
that's a
South,
great one. He's right.
in the South, especially, sometimes we emphasize manners over pushing and advocating for yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that, John. And so, what are some of the things, Greg and Myoshi, that you wish doctors knew? Like, are there
Well,
have you experienced any gaps in the knowledge of, just throughout your going to doctors, and your experience in healthcare? Are there any things that you feel like? Mhm.
Activity level based on the individual. Um, your BMI charts based on metabolic index is not necessarily a true indicator of where you are, health wise, what you can and can't take. And I understand that there are certain precautions that need to be taken, with regards and to that, and scientific facts that from data that have been collected over the years. But I feel like there should be more individuality also included. One interesting fact was, and this kind of goes back to talking about the protein count, and hemochromatosis with regards to, spilling protein into the urine. My case was completely different. I was actually told to gain weight post transplant, and it worked. And I can't thank Dr. Hanaway at UAB, enough for that insight. I was fortunate enough again, being my own advocate, that I was exposed to what I feel were some of the best physicians in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. I don't think that it's something that I wish that doctors knew, because I think they know. They know. It's just a matter of how they plan on treating their patients.
Exactly.
And there are some doctors, like I was just saying earlier, that are just checking check boxes. They're pushing
Yes.
dialysis. They're just going through the motions, and they're treating everybody with CKD exactly the same, telling you the same stories, telling you lower your protein. Like, that's just so vague, right?
Very
Watch
vague.
your phosphorus, watch your potassium. That is very, very vague.
Right.
And until you are speaking up for yourself, asking those questions, or maybe even switching doctors that are going to actually be working in partnership with you and have those open and honest conversations, is when you're going to start seeing the care that you need. Because that's what I had to do. I mean, I came here, I found a doctor that was not working for me. I switched doctors, and my care increased tremendously. Like, it was, I didn't have high phosphorus. I didn't have high potassium. That was never my issue. So it was things that were happening to me even once I started dialysis that I was able to speak to my doctor about. And my care was different, even how I did my dialysis treatments were different. It wasn't just like, hey, you need to start dialysis, you need to do it this many days a week, and that's just that. It was really about what my labs look like, me asking those questions like, hey, my labs look like this, or my dialysis numbers are looking like all of these questions that I'm asking, that they were just able to have those conversations with me. So I wish that there were more doctors like that.
Yes.
That just didn't treat their patients like a number, and really like actual human beings, and really individualizing that treatment for that person.
I don't know if it's fair for me to shout this man out, but I also feel like he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 nephrologists in the country. I was lucky enough to be exposed to a gentleman by his name is Brulette. He's here in Birmingham. He walked up to me one day. He said, "Greg," he said, "I wish that all of my patients were like you. That you're actually interested in your care. You're not just trying to survive. You're actually trying to thrive and get yourself back to a normal place." And he and I still exchange emails, to this day. But I grew a different level of understanding when, based upon my numbers, he pulled me off a surgery table literally like 2 minutes before I was supposed to go in. Pretty much saved my life.
Wow.
And my calcium numbers my potassium numbers, were off the charts. And literally would have stopped my heart.
We have a question in the chat. It says,
That's a great one.
If you had to give doctors any insight about how to treat you better, which I think you sort of hit on a little bit, what tips would you share?
Have longer than a standard 5-minute sit down.
Come on.
Yeah, don't rush. Like, don't come in there like, oh, you have that 5-minute time slot, and you feel rushed, and then you don't have that opportunity to have that conversation.
And what a lot of us, inside and inside the community and outside of the community. We're used to being pushed in and pushed out. Something that I experienced at the Mayo Clinic was a physician that literally said, "Take all the time you need. We're here to have a conversation and we're here to get to know you." And I sat there and literally had a half-hour conversation with this doctor one-on-one in his office. That had never happened before.
Yeah.
Until I'd actually gone to my evaluation at University of Alabama, Birmingham. That's the first thing that I would share.
Yeah.
You're not an assembly line.
Right. Yeah,
You're
feeling like another number. I just went to the doctor like a week ago, and this doctor actually admitted that there's pressure on her to push patients out the door. And because I had a lot of questions. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. So I want to poll the community on this next question that I'm going to ask, which is, have you ever participated in a clinical trial? Like, have you or Myoshi, have you all ever been presented with the opportunity to participate in research as a form of treatment? Would you do it? Would you not? And why?
I have not been presented with being a part of a clinical trial before. And I would say initially, no, I wouldn't have done it. And this is like prior to me even getting like to stage 5 because of the stigma of African Americans being put, like, for me, I just felt like it wasn't safe. And I felt like the space wasn't safe for us. Like, why are you, why do you want us to like start trying this? Like, I could get worse by doing these things. As I progressed in stages with CKD, I wanted to be a part of it. I think I've asked my doctor myself, like, hey, I have FSGS. Is there any clinical trials for that? Like, I really want to understand the ins and outs of it since you're telling me that it's rare. And at that time, I was told no, there wasn't any. But yeah, I haven't.
The closest that I got to a clinical trial was post-COVID. And they actually had a certain amount of CKD patients and transplant recipients that were monitored. But that's the closest that I've had to come. Can't hear you, Rose. Say again.
I think you're on mute, Rosemary.
Yeah, sorry. I was on mute because I was actually joking with Greg and saying, Greg, you spitting out all this wisdom. Take the time, drink some water, man. You preaching CKD to you know what I'm saying? The preacher got to have some water. So
my gosh.
Listen, take the time, drink some water.
I will in just a second. I apologize. I actually
talking good.
I had actually just taken my second round of interjection medications today. Really? So I usually have a little bit of a reflex effect from it.
Oh yeah. That's just, hey, I want to make sure you're taken care of, man. So let's talk about mental health a little bit, right? Like there's so much that could be said around mental health. I think just in the Black community. So would you all expound a little bit on like how has this impacted your mental health with your diagnosis throughout your journey?
Wow. Well, as I've spoken to some of you guys before about, I was one that I'm going to admit it, I was a typical man. I can handle this. I got this. And I completely underestimated the care, and the opportunity to participate, in the post-transplant portion. And actually even during the time that I was on dialysis after I've been diagnosed. It's a real thing. And for myself, I experienced some regrets and I experienced some doubts. And to be completely honest with you, I still deal with him. This past November, my father passed. He had also been on dialysis for about 6 months prior to. And I've had 5 other family members that have either passed or they're currently on dialysis. So, with each of them, I was the first one, but with each of them, I stress that they actually participate in the counseling portion of it. In the Black community, it's considered taboo to seek, counseling or even psychiatric care. It's a very real thing. We already suffer, from a lot of the social norms, the so-called social norms that we deal with as African Americans, in the community. But I feel like with regards to CKD, we need to actually become more involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
That is, that's the tough part about it, and knowing that, I just like you've lost people, I've lost people to CKD, and it's tough. So when you know that part of
Right.
it,
Right.
then being diagnosed with it yourself, trying to handle it is a lot. I've dealt with just knowing I had CKD for a big portion of, the time, like for 10 years before I even got onto dialysis, I knew I had CKD. And I always thought, like, I don't want to be on dialysis. I hopefully, like, my kidneys will never get there. Like, they'll never fail. I don't want to be on dialysis. And once I got to stage 5, it was devastating. When I was told I had to be on dialysis, like, I just broke down. Like, I didn't think I was going to make it. I was just like, I can't. I literally cannot.
Did you do hemo, or did you do peritoneal?
I did peritoneal.
Okay. That was hard for me. I felt like I was confined to like a dog on a chain in the backyard. I hate to say it, but that's what I felt like.
Yeah, I get that. I honestly do. When I was weighing my options between hemo, peritoneal, I felt like that would have been better for me because, I felt like I had more flexibility, even though you have to do it every day. I just felt like it was more flexible versus me going into the center, me having the needle in my arm. That part was terrifying. Like the whole process was just absolutely terrifying. And when you are on peritoneal or hemo, like for PD, you have a catheter out, like in your stomach, like it's hanging, like it's there.
Right.
Like body image, like just a whole thing. Like, are you kidding me? Like I have this tube hanging out of my stomach. Like it can't go anywhere. How you shower, like everything.
Yeah, everything.
And you are like confined. It was times where I would forget, and not that I would like move away from it, but I would be like, I had it set up in my bedroom and I'm connected for the night. And then I'm like, oh, I want to go to the kitchen and grab something. Oh, I have to call somebody. Can you please go to the kitchen? Because I can't leave my room. Now I'm stuck for the next 9 hours on this machine. Yeah.
Yeah, I started off with peritoneal, and I went to hemo. It was hard. It was difficult, but I felt like I was able to separate myself a little bit. I could compartmentalize and still, work a little bit and still come home and not feel, like that there was something about the sound.
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
And when my father was going through it, I remember we went on a vacation and we took his machine. We had to do his dialysis, and it was kind of like a nightmare for me. Just hearing that sound and looking at those bags and carrying it for him because he was of age where he just didn't need to do that. That was and that goes back to to Rosemary bringing up the mental how do you deal with the mental aspect.
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional listening to y'all. And I be trying to be tough about stuff. So I'm hating that I'm getting emotional. I just understand.
It's
you know, the burden that you've had to carry. And I'm just grateful that y'all have stayed strong through the process. I'm sorry, I
Like,
can't.
no, don't apologize. Trust me.
Yeah.
I
And
I, I
You
have
know, I was listening to Miyoshi just talking about, just having that normalcy, right? You
mhm,
have that normalcy, and then it's like, you're kind of
no,
stuck in that moment, like I
no,
can't do what is normal because,
mhm,
of this. And so
no,
sorry for
Mhm.
being a baby.
no. Listen,
Um,
I, I I will never forget the one day I went back to the gym and I was training pretty hard. There was nobody there. It's my facility,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at my arm now on the screen. And you can see where the fistula and the scar from the original one. And I just remember screaming out loud.
Mhm.
And so the emotions and again the mental aspect of this is real.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So I know we talk about kidney health. So someone, may be watching and saying, what can I do to keep my kidneys healthy? Right. So
Mhm.
just want to share a quick fact, that, um,
Sure.
eating healthy meals and cutting back on salt and added sugars. I am
Mhm.
learning this firsthand. My mom had CKD, and
Yeah,
I had to take her to a nutritionist, and
yeah.
I did not know that salt was bad for the kidneys. Like I was learning in real
An
time.
extremely exorbitant amount. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah.
what you're from the other side of it is if you're salt deficient, it's just as bad.
Mhm.
You said if the salt is what?
If you're deficient, it's
Oh,
that was my case. I was salt deficient.
wow, wow,
Mhm.
wow. So that's a quick fact to share with the community. So what message do you all want to convey to others facing similar health challenges that you've had to face? And
Hydration.
while you're sharing it, so I want to drop another quick poll on the people that have joined. Do
Uh-huh.
you have CKD, APO1 mediated kidney disease, or some other any form of kidney disease? If you do, drop it in the chat, and
Mhm.
share with the community. And go ahead, Greg. I'll let you kick it off with
Ah,
just the
okay.
message you want to convey to those who are.
One of the biggest things is hydration. You know, proper hydration. Is a big thing. Um, a lot of people, suffer from kidney stones and don't realize it until it's too late.
Mhm.
And that could be a precursor, to having, um, kidney disease and kidney issues. Um, Blood pressure.
Mhm.
Making sure you keep a solid check on your blood pressure.
Yep.
Also, stress management.
Mhm. Yep. I would have to agree with all of those because like getting your kidneys checked, even outside of thinking that you might have kidney disease is important. Like if you're going to the doctor, you're getting a physical, and the fact that they're checking your kidneys,
Yes.
because for me, I had a family history of kidney disease,
Hmm.
but all of the precursors or symptoms or things that they're saying that could potentially lead to kidney disease, I didn't have. I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have
Hmm.
diabetes.
Hmm.
Um, I, I just didn't have it. I like lupus. Like I didn't have anything.
Hmm.
And boom, I have kidney disease.
Hmm.
But I do have a family history of kidney disease, but never thought like, oh, when I'm going for my physical, maybe I should, check my kidneys. Um, I can tell you that I used to take a lot of ibuprofen because I used to get
Hmm.
migraines really, really bad. And I would take ibuprofen not knowing that taking
Yes.
that on a regular reoccurring basis, and I'm not talking about like here or there, but just like taking a regimen of like NSAID type pain
Hmm.
medicines
That's a big
can
one.
harm your kidneys.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So just being careful with that, drinking water, like you said, being hydrated. And I really think because I get a lot of people that have told me, oh, I just found out, and they're like
Hmm.
stage 5, ready to be on dialysis, need a transplant or something like that. And just checking your kidney, like going to the doctor for your regular physical, asking them to check your kidneys. If you
Yes.
think, you know, if you have a family history, especially, but if you have any of those other high blood pressure, diabetes, lupus, stuff like that, kidney stones, for mainly for women, if you get frequent UTIs, that could be an indicator.
Yes.
Things like that, just to say you're kind of ahead of it, and knowing that maybe you can do something ahead of time before you're just hitting stage 5 is hitting you in the face, and you're like, what do you mean that my kidneys are failing and I need to be on dialysis? That's a big pill to swallow.
Right.
How has the community support, you know, influenced your journey? You know, I know Greg, you know, we go way back. You know, you've been an ambassador, you know, being a part of Now Included. Myoshi, you're part of Now Included. But how has community support influenced your journey with CKD?
A lot.
A
Just
lot.
knowing other people were going through it
Mhm.
was helpful, because I didn't tell a lot of people outside of my immediate family members that I had kidney disease. So there wasn't a lot of people that knew.
Right.
And even if sometimes in your family members, they want to be supportive, and they are supportive, but they don't have CKD.
Correct.
So even that, I mean, I would get unsolicited suggestions, and not that they meant anything by it. They truly believe that they are being helpful. And I appreciate that, but it was just like, I can't do that, or that doesn't apply to me, or that information is not correct. So the community, and knowing that other people understand, you can talk amongst each other, and kind of support and build each other up, learn things that you didn't even know, like, oh, I didn't even know that, you
Yes.
know. So that's super helpful.
You know, what I found is that there were, just like anything else, you know, especially, you know, now with the age of social media, the awareness of what we're exposed to now is a lot greater. I like what's going on now. I mean, like, I see stuff all the time, whereas before it was unspoken, you know,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yep. You're on mute.
You still muted, Rose.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so, I'm over here excited and just running my mouth. So, like, what kind of resources have been particularly helpful for you in managing the symptoms of CKD?
I think for me is more communication with my you know, with my immediate physicians. That's probably been my biggest, you know, my biggest, set of resources, and being able to understand what my blood work looks like, you know, instead of it looking like a page full of numbers and abbreviations that you're not privy to understand, or because you don't have the educational background or medical background to even pick up. That's probably, for myself, speaking for myself, probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Yeah,
because
understanding what your GFR is, you know, understanding
yeah,
what your BUN and your creatinine, you know, things like that. Things like that.
yeah, I definitely have to agree with that, because when you get your blood work, you have all this stuff on there, you don't know why, like, why were you pulling this? What does this even mean? Like, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Right.
You know, and just understanding how that works, and all plays a role into, like, your kidney health, and is your kidneys doing better? Are they doing worse? So yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Understanding your labs for sure.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and again, you know, that kind of goes back to the beginning of our conversation, you know, when we were talking about finding physicians that actually will spend time with you and not treat you like you're an inconvenience, or you're not going to understand anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Give to someone who has just been diagnosed, or to those that are caregivers, you know, of someone with CKD?
It's a very overwhelming experience. as you know, and I was fortunate enough to have my mother and my father with me. But even for them, it was overwhelming. But it was nice to have the support.
Mhm.
I would just say, just gaining more of an understanding.
Mhm. Yep. That's what I would say to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Even repeated questions, it's okay.
Mhm. Yep.
They're
Ga-
there. They're there for that,
Yep.
to answer your questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now that's
And
good.
yeah, and oftentimes we are made to feel that we are an inconvenience by asking so many questions, but that's not the case.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
I
yeah,
don't want to sound like I'm picking on the medical community, but let's be honest. In some
yeah,
cases, educationally speaking, maybe even on an egotistical level, they're up here, or we
mhm,
perceive them to be there. That could be a two-way street,
Mhm.
mhm.
but you can't become so intimidated or so bothered or so stressed or worried that you're afraid to ask. You know, so yeah, I would probably say, yeah, be unafraid. Ask
Mhm.
until you ask questions until you understand what's going on.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
hopefully I'm speaking to someone, because I know there's somebody out there that's
yeah,
sitting there in stress and anxiety and not understanding.
Right. Yep.
I
That I
remember
think that would be my biggest advice, asking the questions because it's already stressful. But
Correct.
the more information you know, the more knowledge that you gain about the type of CKD that you have, what stage it is that you are, what are things that you can do. People ask me all the time, what can I eat? And there's really not a one size fits all because, like I
Nope.
said earlier, I didn't have phosphorus or potassium issues.
See, I did.
So me eating things with phosphorus and potassium never affected me.
Having your
But
phosphorus levels, like out of
yeah.
balance, it's horrible. I mean, like
Mhm.
I would literally like stand and I would grab like a plastic bag with ice and I would
Mhm.
rub it up and down my back just to
Mhm.
cool off the areas from the itching and the
mm,
burning.
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. So having a doctor that's going to refer you to dietitians
Hmm.
because they can help tailor it based on what
Hmm.
your labs look like.
Sure.
So have just even that little bit of knowledge there of knowing what you can eat because there was times where I would Google it and it would be so overwhelming for
Yes.
me that I felt like I couldn't eat anything. Like
Did
I
you?
wrote it down. Like I had an entire list and I was like, okay, can't eat
Right.
that, can't eat that, only eat a little bit of this. And I was like, oh my gosh, what can I eat?
Sure.
And then when I went to see the dietitian, it was like, oh, okay, I
Mhm.
can eat this and that based on
Right.
what my labs were looking like.
Like
So I can tailor my diet around that versus this one size thing that I Googled that's not necessarily accurate. They're just saying in general, people might not, have these symptoms and then you can't eat these things.
Mhm.
So yeah, getting the knowledge and
Mhm.
also with like family members, so with that support system, if you're
Right.
supporting somebody with CKD,
Right.
they also need to get the knowledge too so
Absolutely.
that they can be a good support system for you, understand what CKD is and what it does. Like the fatigue, especially as you progress, is crazy. The brain fog is like,
Mhm.
whoa. I mean, mentally, sometimes you just can't do it.
No.
You want to, you're tired over the littlest thing. You're like napping multiple times a day.
Yes.
So even understanding that point to not say like, oh, you're just making this up or like, why are you tired again? Like literally, I cannot help it.
Hmm.
I have to go to sleep. Like I have nothing left in me. And I could have not even been doing anything major, but
Hmm.
that's just part of it.
Oh gosh,
So
I
yeah,
remember
that's
having a hard
what
time
I'm
walking to the
supporting. Yeah.
mailbox. That was horrible. Just
Mm-hmm.
just getting to the mailbox, was like an act of Congress,
Mm-hmm.
and the feeling of defeat. So I guess we've got some pretty direct questions, but we're kind of addressing the medicinal side, the physical side,
Mm-hmm.
and the mental health side of it, all in the same shot with each question.
Yeah.
You still muted, bro.
You're still mute.
Listen, I'm over here just like, yeah, this good. And I was like, let me mute myself because
No.
this is so good. Just hearing this is very educational. And I'm actually pulling tidbits for myself because I'm a caregiver. So this next thing I know you really spoke passionately about, Greg, and we just want to share another info tip, another educational tip with the community is having genetic testing can help you learn if you have the APO1 gene mutation, which can lead to CKD. I just wanted to share another educational tip with the community.
Sure.
But I want to ask, what strength have you all discovered throughout your journey? So, like we call the CKD Unplugged, stories of strength, and just talking about your strength. So, like, what strength have you seen arise throughout your journey?
Ooh, that's a big one. One,
For me, it was making it through dialysis.
Yeah, I can make it through anything. Secondly, I learned how to manage my stress. Boy, if it's not serving a positive purpose, step away from it. Only spend a limited amount of time, leave it be, because it wasn't worth my blood pressure going through the ceiling. And damaging my kidneys further.
Yeah, absolutely. Making it through dialysis and learning how to manage my stress. I see a therapist because of it, because I want to keep my new transplant kidney healthy. So having all this unnecessary stress, stressing all the time, making my blood pressure high, isn't healthy. It's not going to preserve the kidney that I received as a gift. And so just doing that and like I said, making it through dialysis is something that I thought I was never going to be able to make it through. Like I literally had it already in my mind, like this is the end for me if I have to go on dialysis. And I made it.
Exactly. I mean, it was a pretty wild deal for myself because I the week of my transplant, I watched 3 people die in clinic on dialysis. And while I was going through the process of searching for a kidney, I think I got close to death 5 times within minutes. So it changed my perspective on what's important and what's not.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So, this has been so great. I know the community, those who have joined, are really appreciating all of the golden nuggets and things that they've gleaned from your wisdom, from your journey. So my last question is, how do you envision the Now Included community contributing to a broader awareness of understanding CKD?
I'm sorry, I lost you there.
No, you're okay. You're okay. No, I was just saying, how do you,
mic back up.
Can you hear me, Greg? Can you hear us?
I don't know if y'all can hear me or not, but
yeah, we can hear you.
You can?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
One of the things that I see with Now Included is I have noticed that this platform has brought about an awareness that I'm not sure about nationwide, but I feel like the awareness of things has gone to a broader and higher level. Watching the social media pages and seeing it spread all over the country is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having it in such a digital platform, because this is the day and age of like digital communication and where people are getting things from, it's going to help so many people that they feel comfortable and know that we have a community. Because like before I joined social media to talk about my kidney disease, I didn't feel like I had a community, but then my community opened up so wide by being engaged with other people online. So I think, Now Included is awesome because it gives people a safe space. It gives people a space to say, like, oh, I can connect with other people that understand. I can get knowledge and information that I didn't know before, without being restricted to like, oh, I just have to go into this, like, meeting hall or something to meet with people. They have an opportunity to do this anytime, anywhere.
So I just want to ask the community, if there's something that really stood out to you, I just want to poll the community really quick because you all have really dropped some gems today. How has attending our webinar impacted your understanding or knowledge of the topic CKD discussed today? So if you're just, if there's something that was really valuable that was shared that stood out to you, if you just drop it in the chat. I know Greg and Myoshi would love to know, what you know, how you've added value to the knowledge of CKD. Greg, were you about to say something?
No.
Okay. And so, yeah, as the community is just adding there in the chat, I just want to thank both of you so much for this time, for just everything that you have done for Now Included, in Now Included, educating the community, taking this time out of your day to day. And if there's someone new here and you have not joined the community, we'll drop that link in the chat for you to join. Join the community so you can be connected, get connected. We'll also drop in the chat Greg's full story, and just follow us on all the digital platforms, because we will also share a replay of this where you can see get the wisdom that Myoshi has shared with us today. We're so grateful. I also want to make another announcement that we have kidney, not we, but one of our partners, Kidney Action Week. We want share that with you. We'll put that up on the screen, and also share the link where you would they'll be doing a ton of educational, engaging activities for Kidney Action Week. And you can register on their website, which is, we've dropped that in the chat. That's going to be a great week. That's March 18th to the 22nd. It's free. It's a week-long virtual event, and it's dedicated to educating patients, caregivers, and doctors on all things related to kidney health. So in that live session, it's going to be great, more education. And hey, it's Kidney Health Month, so let's come together and bring awareness. Did Greg or Myoshi, do you have any just little last words before we depart today?
John Forrest, that's a great comment.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's exactly what I found when I've spoken with other people, John, that, people feel alone in this, even though you have family member support. If you are the one dealing with CKD, it's so easy to feel like you're the only one going through this. And once you meet that community and get connected with others, you're like, wow, you had the same experiences as me, or, you're feeling the same way that I feel. And it's so refreshing and it's so encouraging to be able to share stories and be able to educate and encourage each other that, you're going to make it, you're going to get through this. There are going to be moments that you feel like you can't make it and you're going to get down. And that's normal response to going through a major health issue. But all in all, to know that you can get through this. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to make it at all. And if I can make it, I know everyone else can.
I felt the same. I really did. I felt the same. There were times that I was just down, and just thinking, man, am I gonna be able to crawl out of bed to the next thing? So, you're welcome, Tyrone.
Well, listen, thank you all so much again. Hey, listen, this won't be the last time, right? Until the next time that we all join together, and we'll have more conversations. And listen, we'll see you in the community. And we have one person I see as I'm about to close out that says we'll share the message with others. And thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Listen, I'll see you all in the community. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.